It's one of my favorite poi illusions. How do you add isolations to your flowers and body tracers? Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain, and today we're going to dive into a cool effect that you can throw onto your poi flowers. Before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flowfests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all of these amazing businesses and what they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I have down in the description of this video. And special thanks to non-business friends of the channel, Johnny Howard, Lain Mochinsky, and Pekha Pekkonen. Thank you so very much for your support for my work and my mission. Isolations are one of the most visually stunning and distinctive poi tricks out there. The ways in which they create a hypnotic relationship between the poi are really hard to miss, to say nothing of the gravity-defying nature of them. But what if I told you that you could get this same effect in a totally unrelated trick, like say, a poi flower or body tracer? In this tutorial, I'll show you how you can add this effect to many of your favorite flower-based poi tricks. The good news is that this is an effect that's more of an illusion than anything else, so it doesn't actually require you to know how to perform isolations in order to get any of them down. So let's start off with some groundwork. Namely, how do you make a thing look like an isolation when it's really not an isolation? One way is with linear isolations. When we have them working in split time same direction and wall plane, we can create a moment, if just for an instant, that certainly looks like an isolation when we swap our poi in and out of that center position. The key here is that we're looking for a moment when the poi can overlap and we can hang on to it for just a half a second longer than normal. Our eyes are already primed to see this kind of relationship, so if we can make it last just a hair longer, it really seems to pop. But how do we do that? The key is two tools that you might actually be familiar with already: static spin and inspin flowers. Static spin is really just poi jargon for having the hand post up in one location and spin the poi there in wall plane. This can be done straight in front of you, off to one side, with your hand perched up on your shoulder. It all depends. Inspin flowers, on the other hand, are those poi tricks where you're moving both the hand and poi around in a huge circle, and you let the poi take a beat round the hand at one or more points in the course of its path. I usually play around with 1, 2, or even 4 petal inspin flowers on the regular. Okay, so how do we take these two components and turn them into something that includes that isolated moment? We're going to start with an example that I like to think of as an isolated windmill. A standard windmill follows the regular pattern of having each hand and poi complete one beat in front of the body as well as one beat behind the native shoulder. That is, the shoulder a given hand and poi are connected to. One way you can actually think of a windmill, especially the big broader ones that are sometimes dubbed Poitruvian man, is as both hands performing a single petal inspin flower with that single petal at the very top of the hand path. And to isolate it, we're going to train two individual positions before putting them together. Here's how to start. One of your hands is going to have to hang out performing a static spin behind its native shoulder. This can sometimes be challenging in itself, so perform this in front of a mirror if you're able to. Next, you're going to get your other hand performing a one petal inspin flower and place that petal right above the opposite hand. The result? You get that nice isolation when you perform that flower petal. You can actually stretch out that petal just a little bit to make that effect really pop. Here's how. Imagine you're actually going to stall the poi performing the flower right at the point of the opposite hand, and at the last minute pull it back out to complete its flower path. That feint into a stall helps slow down the poi for a moment, and it really draws out the shape of the isolation even more. See if you can keep this going for 10 reps of the inspin flower. I know it's hard with that one hand spinning behind your shoulder, but trust me, it'll be worth it. Once you have the one shoulder down, it's time to try out the other shoulder. Swap out the action each hand was performing. The hand that was doing the static spin is now doing the flower, and vice versa. Once again, work to synchronize that flower petal to the static spin hand and use a stalling motion to stretch the moment out. Once you have both shoulders on lock, work to perform them in sequence. Do this by performing the flower petal and shoulder static spin combo on one side of the body 3 times, then switch to doing it 3 times on the other side of the body. Now work your way down to doing 2 reps on one side and the other before finally going down to only 1 rep on each side. Eureka! A windmill with isolated elements. Really, you can use this technique to add isolated moments to nearly any flower or body tracer you come up with. Here are some examples that I'm fond of personally. First up, a 5-beat weave fountain that isolates above and beneath each shoulder as it travels around the body. Next up, the isolated body tracer I learned in the Ryan Duchamp challenge contains elements of this too. See if you can spot where I'm switching back and forth between the static spin and the inspin flower. And finally, check out this cool variation on a crosser hybrid. Once again, add a petal to what's usually an extension and see how the pieces line up. There are plenty more examples out there, and I'm sure you all will find tons of applications for this idea yourselves too. Post your work to social media and make sure to tag me so I can get inspired by your riffs on this concept. Did you get anything out of this video? Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to help other people find it and to help my channel grow. This video would not be possible if not for the wonderful support of all of these amazing people right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon, and they, along with the people listed down in the description, help to make this video and all the videos on my channel possible. Thank you one and all for your support. Do you like my videos? Do you like my flow sessions, vlogs, reviews, combos, and more? I'm on a mission to bring poi spinning and flow arts to the wider world and help people connect with their bodies and their brains. So help me do it. Head on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and sign up. You can do that at the link in the description or the card that just popped up if you're watching on YouTube. There you can get access to a whole host of rewards and help me along in my mission. Do check that out. Please and thank you. What are some cool and counterintuitive ways you've found to create these isolated moments in your own spinning? Leave me a comment and let me know. I'll include a link to a playlist of other tutorials like this one down in the description or up on screen if you're watching this video on YouTube. Make sure to get outside to flow today, and I'll see you with a new video on Friday. Thanks for watching and have a good one. Peace.